Southern Colorado certainly has many core values, and for some, religion certainly plays a big role. However, many Americans are noticing political differences are splitting church congregations. In fact, it's a split so wide that authors, researchers, they're calling it the big split. But some, now rare churches still have a mix of those who vote blue and those who vote red. They're referred to as a purple church. I found one church in Colorado Springs that welcomes the issue with open arms. In fact, you can tell they're a purple church just by walking through the parking lot on the way to the sanctuary. Polar opposite spectrums right there. They're proof you can stay unified, though, even when politics and religion clash. Here's my special report. The Purple Church, 2 parties, 1 faith. The sound of Sunday morning. It's a similar tone for millions of Americans.
Hold on to it tightly because it is God's love.
But what they hear in 2025
Jesus was absolutely clear.
may be different
Are we willing to offer help?
depending on who you ask.
Offering kindness, mercy, and justice.
At this church in Colorado Springs, pews are filled with people who vote differently, yet pray together.
Will we put people first?
A congregation that's a dying sort during a time when faith communities often align with a political ideology.
It has been very difficult the past 4 weeks.
Pastor Ann Cubbage leads the Broadmoor Community Church. It's a United Church of Christ congregation that's been a haven for Christians for decades.
I think that it's important that I walk the line, caring for each and every person.
But 2025 has brought unprecedented political tension.
Do we measure up? So in my sermons, I am not political, except, well, I shouldn't say that. They are political, but I always couch them in biblical values, in biblical characters.
The church prides itself on welcoming all with open arms. Whether you vote red or blue, it's what many refer to as a purple church.
I want you to raise your hand if you believe in helping the sick.
Several members sat down with us.
Okay, I want you to raise your hand if you believe in helping the poor.
Half liberal, half conservative.
I want you to raise your hand if you believe in loving my neighbor.
All on common ground.
I think we're done here. All right, thanks.
All right.
I don't see our church as that far apart where we have to accommodate each other. I see us as accepting each other. So
what do you look at when it comes to really hard topics that are tough to talk about? The immigration at the border, pro-choice versus pro-life.
We do discuss things that we absolutely disagree and listen, but we try to listen to each other and respect each other's opinion, and then move forward and realize that we still agree on way more than we disagree with.
How does a church in this day and age thrive like that? Because I think we just mentioned we haven't seen a contentious political spectrum like this in our lifetimes, possibly ever.
It doesn't matter where you are on the political spectrum. So, nobody worries or cares about stuff like that. Love is the overarching constant of this church.
We have to be careful. We need to make sure we don't have assumptions about someone just because they're a little further right or a little further left than we are.
Everyone is accepted here. And like we say, whoever you are or wherever you are in your journey, you're welcome here.
I think young people also are looking for what are you doing? What's the church doing? Not just what are you preaching, what are the tenets that you have to sign up to. What are you doing? How are you showing love for your neighbor?
What would you like to see out of our elected leaders?
We need to act in loving ways. Eventually, that's all what it comes down to, is how do we treat our neighbor and who is our neighbor?
We have to be in relationship with one another. We have to hear one another before we can ever expect to change any minds. Or maybe never, but at least to respect the other person's point of view.
A congregation that, despite political difference,
Folks, the Prince of Peace
doesn't part
has gone fishing.
like the Red Sea,
We can follow the way of the world,
where compassion
or we can embrace Christ's call
trumps partisanship,
to love boldly,
where purple isn't just a color,
to speak truth in the face of power.
it's a calling.
Will we leave our boats, our comfort,
Josh Helmuth.
Our way of being
KRDO 13,
to follow Jesus.
Colorado Springs.
Amen.
You can go to KRDO.com right now to read more about BCC and the Purple Church. It includes my interview too with Ryan Burge right here. He is a former Baptist pastor from Illinois who's now a professor at Eastern Illinois University. He's authored several books about religion and politics, and his latest upcoming book is about the big split. It's called The Vanishing Church.